Hello and welcome to the Gen X Dad and his Gen Z Teens podcast. We're a program that takes a lighthearted look at generational differences about all sorts of topics. We explore everything from pop culture to history to relationships and politics, but only at a very shallow level. We don't aim to be controversial or be the authoritative voice on any topic. We're just here to talk about things that we think are important and interesting that we'll have fun talking about. Today, we're going to talk about pets, but really I think we're mostly going to end up focusing on dogs because that is what we have. We'll talk a little bit about my experiences back in the 80s, again in a small town versus now. I think the way that people think about their pets and being in an urban environment. So first off, again, for full disclosure, we have a pet dog and she is awesome. We have a single full-size golden doodle as our pet. And part of the reason we have a golden doodle and part of the reason we've only just got a pet in the last couple years has a little bit to do with pet allergies. So that's probably why we're going to focus on dogs today. I am allergic to cats, and my older teen is also very allergic to cats. I mean, to the point that we walk into a house, I don't even have to see a cat. I'll start feeling it pretty quick and know that they have a cat there. So with that, we can't speak too much. And I didn't really have cats growing up. I did have dogs growing up. However, the biggest change is obviously our dog now is an indoor dog, and I think for the most part, certainly people I think lean more that way now, and there's a much bigger movement than there was when I was growing up of thinking of pets as basically family members. All the dogs that I had growing up were outside dogs, and looking back and looking at how our dog is now, I do think that was unfair. I mean, dogs are pack animals; they want to be around people. And I think in retrospect, we could have been better by trying to make them indoor dogs. But that being said, I'll be honest, I don't really remember any of my friends growing up that had an indoor dog. So with that, I mean, it in some degree is all relative. And I do think that most people thought of dogs as being outside. And you can go back to the Charlie Brown Peanuts cartoon. Snoopy was an outside dog and dog houses, and there was a push to give them their own kind of areas fenced in and whatnot. But things definitely changed over the last couple of decades, and I think most people, certainly in our experience, I mean, dogs are all pretty much inside. And again, part of a family member. So, that being said, as far as preferences go, my preference has always been big versus small pets. Again, our dog is a full size. We wanted a bigger dog. But I do understand also people, in the popularity of the toy size or miniature dogs. They're much easier to handle, somewhat cheaper, and you can take them with you, which a full-size dog is much more difficult. We took our dog on vacation for the first time, not this past summer, but the year before, and it was something, as far as the planning goes and finding the right hotel that would do it, and then it obviously costs extra, not as much as boarding a dog, but certainly extra. We are fortunate that we have some family members near us that are always available to help out with our dog when we do have to travel or if we do need some help. And that makes things certainly easier, especially if you have a bigger dog. So with that, I think I've talked a little bit. Let's get an impression. Let's talk to the teens about how they feel about our dog, and does she add anything to the family? What are their thoughts? So start with the older one.
Yeah, I think she definitely adds a lot, and I think dogs in general, kind of can do a lot because they're always pretty much always happy. Always wanna play and jump around. So it kind of brings a good feeling, no matter what. So yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty awesome. Let's go to my younger team. But before that, a big reason why we have our dog now is because my younger teen asked for one. My older teen, not so much that my older teen wasn't as interested, but with the pet allergies that we were dealing with, we really had to kind of think about the right type of dog. But it was my younger teen who really pushed for us to get a dog. And so with that, yeah, he's my animal lover. What do you think about our dog and pets in general?
I think pets in general are a good thing, and especially dogs like ours. I mean, she's super sweet. She's the best, and she likes to play and hang out, and she's pretty chill. Remember when she was a puppy, she'd always go crazy and bite us and poop and pee everywhere. It was kind of annoying for a little bit, but now she's chill.
In fact, she's hanging out with us right now. If only she knew how we were talking about her. All right. Let's talk about other pets for a minute, or let's talk about any other friends, their animals that they have. How do we compare to, say, some of your other friends? Do most people have pets? Do they have dogs, or do they have other things?
Yeah, a bunch of people have dogs. I think that's kind of the majority, at least of people I know. But sometimes people have cats or more exotic things like fish or reptiles or birds or something like that. But it's majority dogs. Every once in a while a cat, but that's about it.
All right, what about your friends?
Yeah, most of them have dogs too. A couple of them have cats, but not really any like exotic ones. But that's really the two I've seen.
And are most of, say, their dogs, the ones that have dogs, are pretty much all of them indoor dogs? Do you know of anybody who has a strictly sort of outdoor dog? I'm getting head nods in the negative. Okay. You mentioned exotic pets for a minute. So growing up, my dad had a coworker who, for a while at least, had a pet tarantula. I'll be honest, that thing freaked me out. I did not like that thing. I've never been a big fan of snakes. Do you know anybody who has any kind of reptiles or anything like that?
I've known some people who have like lizards. Never anybody that has a snake. I haven't met anybody that has that yet. But there certainly are people out there that do that. However kind of strange that is.
What about you? Anybody you know have exotic pets?
No, not really. All of them kind of stick to either cats or dogs.
So one, I'm not a big fan of snakes in general, and then second, ever since I was in college, and we used to sometimes go down to watch them feed in the biology department, feed the snakes, and to be honest, I never really felt comfortable with that. So I am not a big fan of snakes or any part of that. As far as spiders go, I mean, that always freaked me out. I just don't think I like pets that have a little more of a personality. I don't think you get a lot of that with the exotic pets. And again, I think pets in my mind are more companionship in that regard. And I think some of the exotics don't do that. That's more of a status symbol if you have that. And so I really don't know if that's what I would even consider a pet per se. Again, that's to me more of an exotic. Now, fish is the one kind of maybe slight example. I did have an aquarium growing up. That was pretty cool. I did enjoy it. A couple times over the years, I because of the pet allergies, I thought that might be a good kind of alternative for us to have. But your mom was not a big fan of fish, so that we don't have that. But maybe at some point I'll have a small aquarium because I did think that was pretty cool. That being said, going forward, do we need any more pets? Are we good for a while? What's your thoughts?
I mean, I think we're good, but I'm also not the biggest pet person, so.
All right, what about you?
I think we're good with just one for now.
All right. Yeah, your mom wants another one. She wants our dog to have a dog. What about when you do you see yourself at some point having a pet? I'll be honest, I never really kind of pictured myself as having a pet just because I was never super close with the dogs that we had growing up. And again, that's my own fault. But I like to travel a lot, and I don't like the idea of kind of being held back. Always worried about, taking care of the dog or a pet. But what about yourself? Do you see yourself having a pet at some point in the future?
I don't know, probably not. Because kind of, the same way of, I, don't really plan on, I don't think I'm going to be, home a ton or home consistently enough to where I could really, I'd feel bad for the dog, and the dog probably wouldn't be the best place for a pet to be. So I just don't think it'd work out because I'd be out too much.
Yeah, and that's very grown up. I know some people want immediate dogs and stuff like that, but I think you really got to think about the pet, and are you the right person in the right point in your life to have that pet? What about you?
I'd have to really settle down and get a job and get a permanent living space before I get any type of pet.
Absolutely fair. That's actually very mature of you guys. So, well, with that, would love for you guys to drop in the comments, tell us about your pets. There is this great meme. Obviously, we love our dog and we think she's the best, but I think, there's a meme that's out there that basically every dog owner thinks their dog is the best, and they're right. They're just great pets and great animals. And we are certainly fortunate to have her in our life, and she definitely adds to it. But we certainly would love to hear any of your stories. Certainly if there's any exotics or anything that maybe you recommend to people. I'm not a big fan of exotics, but I'm always open to new information. Would love to hear that. Otherwise, I think we're done for the day. I want to thank you for listening in to our podcast. Please hit the like button if you got something out of this. Certainly leave a comment if you have anything to add. And we'll catch you next time. This has been the Gen X Dad and his Gen Z teens. Thanks.